Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the UpperEdge Podcast. I'm Scott Stewart. And today I'm joined by Adam Maravelis, the GM of Hagerstown Heater and Cooling. So, Adam, he's built a strong reputation for himself through leadership, customer experience, and a people first approach that's helped the company grow in a big way. Adam, it's great to have you on, man.
Hey, I'm excited to be here. I appreciate you reaching out, Scott.
Amazing. All right, Adam. So, I'd love to hear a little bit about your background
Okay.
and what led you into the industry of HVAC? Because I know
Yeah, yeah,
yours is a little unusual.
yeah. Definitely not the normal story you would expect. So I actually really am prideful about the story, to be honest. Maybe I shouldn't be, but so I actually come from servant attitude mindset, Christian values, and that got me into the fire service of all things. I have a family of entrepreneurs, and as I was coming towards the end of my career, the owner of the company, Hagerstown Heating and Cooling. He's always been a mentor and a family friend. My mom's been working with John for over 14 years in business. And during COVID, he was looking for an office manager and he hired an office manager that is my now wife. And so when I was coming to the end of my career, he was looking for somebody to kind of take the reins so he can kind of step back and start working towards a retirement. And because I truly believe in the foundation of how he built the company and what the company stands for, and I get to scratch my entrepreneur itch that I've always had my whole life. So I just bring a little bit more structure coming from that fire service background, a little more of the let's just get it done attitude, and then in culture, there's a lot of pride and culture that comes with the fire service and first responders in general, just like our first responders and all the military that's out there. So bringing that here and making people want to be a part of this family and knowing that the more that culture hits within the reputation of the people internally, then that obviously expands the customer experience. So knowing that it's come full circle as my mom was a customer, then a business partner, and then now here I am.
Wow, that's a great journey, man. That's a great journey. Definitely unusual. And I definitely
Absolutely.
see how that background could help so much with operations and leadership. And I know you're really about taking care of your people, taking care of your crew. And tell me a little bit about that, about like what do you do differently that maybe other operators don't that really helps your crew, stay at the top of their level and just keep that morale up?
Yeah. So I used to run the fire academy. I ran a few recruit classes and I was a sport instructor for many years. And some of the things that it takes to get cleared as a firefighter and a paramedic is scenario based training. So it's not like earth shattering, but we did build a training center where we have 6 different systems of all the different types of heating sources and cooling sources that we have in our region. So our guys get real-time scenario-based training, and they used to train twice a week, but we actually have broken it up. There's now training 5 days a week. We just blend the guys for a bigger training and then also have smaller subset trainings from, depending on where you're at in your career for, some of the newer guys don't need that advanced training, and the goal of that to invest in our people is to understand that A, you get loyalty back. They don't feel like, oh, I have to go to work, right? Which ultimately is the focus of making sure we do everything right by the customer because they're just an extension of us. It's not like you may get that one technician that shows up, but they're representing the company and the brand. So if anything is needed, even our owner, he'll still take technical support calls. He'll still go out to a customer's home if there's something very unusual that he's like, I'm intrigued. I want to go fix that problem. So even the owner is still willing to go out there and make that difference. So and then just I don't know, we all get along. We joke and carry on. We have a lot of fun. I tell people, if you don't know, firefighters have like they call it the coffee table or the kitchen table where we joke and carry on. Even our company meetings, everybody just has a good time.
Yeah,
I never get a vibe that people don't want to come work here. I'm not saying the job's easy, but it's not that they don't want to come work here. And
yeah.
then you invest in them and you teach them how to be the best technicians out there and they make a good living. We believe in full-time wages and part-time work. If you knock it out
I
of the
love
park
that.
and do what's right, you know, the owner's philosophy, I couldn't agree more. I don't want people working their life away.
Yeah,
Life's short, you know?
yeah. Good man. Good man. So tell me about those trainings when they go in for the training, is that like some of the more senior guys passing on the knowledge down to the newer guys, or how does that work?
Yeah, so the owner is a teacher by trade. But he's always been an entrepreneur, and he was a very effective teacher, but he didn't like being boxed into rules for telling him how he's supposed to teach. So he went into like a maintenance type of world, which in turn he fell in love with the technical challenge of HVAC. And so he did HVAC for a few years, and then he said, you know what? I want to do it myself. So not only is a teaching degree, but he's also nationally NATE certified, and we have NATE certified technicians here, which is our nationally, training governing body. So um, by default, so he'll come in and teach communication. He'll get involved in some of the super technical things, and then also obviously I have other senior guys. I have a service manager that's wonderful. I mean, again, everybody that here makes my life easier, makes my job easier,
Yeah,
right? So
definitely.
he's been very good. My service manager, John, also named John, has been very, very good at pinpointing and focusing strengths and weaknesses of the individuals and building the training around the individual for what they need. And what helps him prepare for that is we actually do a DISC assessment on anybody that comes through the door. So part of my hiring process is a DISC assessment and 2 interviews. So you can interview with different people within the team, regardless of what division you're going into, because I want people that are going to fit culturally, and it has to be a good fit for both sides for the success. And then the benefit of that DISC assessment is it tells us how that person learns and communicates and how they
Mm.
respond under pressure, and it gives us, hey, this is how we need to train in this individual and that individual. So again, truly to invest in
What
them for them to be successful.
what a great approach. What a great approach. That's you don't see that with a lot of businesses,
Uh,
especially in
I've noticed
contracting and things like that. They're
I
trying just to get somebody to work and get in
uh,
there, and they don't take that time. That's just like that's amazing.
I will tell you from a recruitment standpoint, it's still extremely difficult.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Especially when you have a high standard that I refuse to lower, right? So I'm obviously more selective, and I bring a lot of people through, but ultimately what has helped us is because we're starting to John's always done a great job with the brand. I'm kind of taken to a more in your face social media type of like content creating. I even have a guy in staff that helps with content creation.
Great.
And in doing that, it's making people now come to us, which has made my life a little bit
Yeah.
easier because they see, hey, that looks like a great place to work. So obviously, it's made that recruitment side a little bit easier.
Great job, man. Great job. So tell me about one of your biggest wins or breakthroughs for the business over the last couple of years.
Okay, so I've been here. I'm a little over 2 years into the seat, but again, my wife's worked here for as the office manager for 4 years. So I've been invested for at least 4 years now. I
Yeah.
mean, almost 5 years. So, um, I think the biggest thing is having John step out to implement systems and process. So everything about
Mm.
John is, I tell everybody, he's a unique character. He's like, with respect to Elon Musk, he's very Elon Musk when it comes to HVAC technical knowledge, and he's not duplicatable in that knowledge in the sense of that guy, like, he'll always be able to throw a curveball somewhere to challenge you, which is awesome. So having him step out and finding people to fill that void and getting everything that he has built around in here onto papers, into my SOP book of how we operate
Nice.
and things like that, it's been a challenge. However, it's made it duplicatable. It's increased the fact that we went from 1 day a week of training to 2 days and now 5 days a week as of about 3 weeks ago. So seeing that evolution happen, knowing that the company's standing on its own merit without his everyday involvement, so he's built a fantastic company. So I'm giving all. I hope I'm making sure it's clear that all the credit goes to him. I'm just an operator in this
You're
situation.
right.
I'm just trying to make it scalable because what I see in the industry and the statistics show that 93% of all contractors are either not doing something to code or not doing something to manufacturer specifications. And that's not a study Adam did. That's not Hagerstown Heating and Cooling. That's our governing bodies doing study year over year. Systems used to last 30 years. Now you're getting 8 to 12 years. Why?
Why?
All the
Yeah.
install practices are not evolving with the technology that's out there. Or you're putting new
Mhm.
technology on existing ductwork, for example, in older homes, and it's a problem. And taking that whole home approach, we take a building science approach. Seeing that trend and seeing that people are seeing more value in that is why the company's had significant growth. To me, having that thankfulness and customers that aren't customers, they're becoming part of us. That word of mouth because they just love us. again, it came full circle and started with my mom. So I'm a living testament. The reason I'm sitting here is because of the relationship and the foundation of the company with my mom 14 years ago.
It's amazing. That's amazing. So, I mean, as the business has grown quite a bit, and last time we talked, you mentioned that it's starting to grow faster with a rebate program that's going on.
Yeah. So the other thing is that, everybody in America is facing the fact that inflation, not getting into geopolitics or any kind of politics, but in the day, inflation, everybody feels it at the grocery store or whatever. Well, HVAC services are no different. We've had at least 60% of increase in cost of goods just in the 2 years I've been sitting in this seat.
Yeah.
So the things that we do is we work with like the local power company, and there's generalized rebates that you can get through the state and through the power company, but we have specific programs that we're the only contractor in our area that can do an electrification program and then a home performance rebate program. So some of the programs that we can do, we can get you almost a complete cost of a new system. And I don't just mean a single stage, I mean the top of the line piece of equipment you can buy for an inverter technology. And then also, again, we take a building science approach. So with that whole home approach, that means we're modifying ductwork, we're insulating your home with blown insulation, spray foam, and we're helping offset some of those costs to you with through our local power company.
That's huge. What a great position to be in, to be the one contractor
Absolutely.
can do that. I'd like to ask how you got in that position, but I don't want to give away your secrets here.
Well, I will tell you, John's always been a part of this because we have two people on staff that are BPI certified, Building Performance Institute, so they're nationally certified and accredited to do that whole home approach anyway. So that's just kind of how we were built. And the owner only wanted the company just to be sustainable. I came in and said, dude, more people need us. And he was
Yeah,
like, yeah, but we live a good lifestyle. Everybody's good. I was like, well, if I want the seat, and I do want the seat. I wanna reach more people that need us. It's not like we genuinely feel innately compelled to help the customers out there because most people just don't know. So
right.
that's
Yeah,
where
they don't.
we just wanna
Yeah, rebate
educate.
programs, and they seem complicated to people. They don't know how to go
Mhm.
through the red tape, and so you come
Yep.
in and you obviously help them navigate all of that, right?
They don't have to do any of it. We handle everything.
Yeah, it's amazing. That's awesome, man. Yeah,
But
you're doing great work because those are people that a lot of people maybe they can't necessarily afford it otherwise, right? And they
correct,
were going to go without. So that's
correct.
huge. You're helping them out so much.
Well, and then the other thing that it does for us is so even the people that don't qualify for the program, like, so we service 3 states. So the program's only localized to the state of Maryland where we are actually located, but we still take that same approach to our other customers so they can understand what's going on because, like, our mission statement is to protect the customer from themselves, Google, AI, and other contractors. Because I can search all kinds of things on the internet, but
Yeah.
again, as I tell you, it's our job to educate. Even if you don't go with us and use us as your contractor, I just want you to be educated so you know you're making the right choice for you and your home because the building science says you need this. Not me. Building science is telling me you need this. Codes are telling me you need this. The manufacturer specifications say you need this.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's a challenge, right? People like to take your estimate, then go on ChatGPT and go, wait a minute, it's supposed to cost
correct.
this much. And
Correct.
then but that's where the education comes in, right?
Of
And then they
course.
know they're in good hands. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, one of my favorite compliments and reviews that we get is they don't feel like they're being sold because we're not here to sell. If you choose us, I just know we're taking the same approach every time. If you choose not to use our services, I totally respect that. But as long as somewhere along the lines you are getting an education for something in the future, that's always our goal.
Great value, great philosophy. So I mean, so obviously, when businesses grow fast like you've
Hmm.
been doing, there's stuff behind the scenes that people don't see. There's a lot of challenges, right? Like be
Absolutely.
transparent about it.
Yep.
And that's where people learn from, right? That's where our guests will learn from. That's where you learn from.
Absolutely.
What's been some of the bigger challenges that you've had to overcome as you've grown?
Yeah. So there's a lot. I hate the mindset of being reactive than instead of proactive, and sometimes you still have blind spots. Ultimately, I will tell you the thing that, I can't I I'm so blessed. I have a great team around me. So, again, I don't come from an HVAC background, so having a team well-versed in the business, in the industry, keeping me ahead of the decisions I need to make and I let them help me guide in the decisions I need to make going forward. My biggest fear would be to ever sacrifice quality over quantity. And we have such a high demand. I mean, I'm booked out 8 weeks and it's not peak season. So, bring on additional crews, things like that. Now I have an onboarding training process and a delay, all things that are great problems to have. But there's I'm not a micromanager because I trust my team. But when you're new
Yeah.
here, you get micromanaged. You got to make sure that you're doing it to our process, our standards every step of
Yeah.
the way. That's why
Y-
we have our
You're the
Hagerstown,
in and out of HVAC over here.
right? Um, But some other things are just, letting technology, do its thing. So, some of the examples I give are, having AI chat features, AI overflow, AI for after hours to keep up with the demand needs, and it keeps the workload off of the guys even after hours having to take the calls or even my office during overflow. And the customers don't I don't not as they don't know we have it because it's not like we hide it, but they don't
Yeah.
realize the difference. So that's been huge
Yeah.
for us, in getting back and keeping conversations going. And on the flip side, from a financial side, that prevents us from missing opportunities.
Absolutely.
And then if you don't have SOPs in your company, you're missing out. But AI is huge for helping me develop my SOP book. I mean, it's just been wonderful. Like, we all have our concepts, and my team, we know we have a platform the way we set it up, and I say this is what the flow and how they're all supposed to look. So as something evolves and we change, we get ahead of it. And then I think using AI in the company, I didn't think it was going to be as beneficial as it is. And it was kind of like, yeah, but like, why would I use it in the service industry? No, it's fantastic. Um, but and then just having a CRM, there are still some people in the area where I operate that are still on pen and paper. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but, having a CRM for tracking purposes, between ordering and tracking the teams and where they're at and communication and invoicing, everything. I mean, if without having some type of CRM, I don't know how people do it, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting. I've worked with some businesses that are pen and paper, and a lot of times they're just, they're so busy and they're a little bit hesitant to adapt in technology just because it's the unknown for them and they don't want to maybe take the time to learn it. But once you integrate those things, wow, the business runs so much smoother,
It really
so
does.
much smoother.
It really does.
Yeah.
And
So
I think
with as
sometimes we undervalue I'm sorry, Scott, but I think
no,
sometimes we
no,
undervalue how much saving you 5 minutes here and there adds up.
yeah,
I
that's
don't think enough people take the time to say, "What do I actually do throughout the day in business and how I actually allocate my time?" And you'd
yeah,
find a lot of wasted time.
yeah. And that's all time you can have with your family, with your wife,
Correct.
enjoying life, and that's why we do this, right?
Absolutely.
So I do it. That's interesting. I love hearing that you've adapted so much AI into the business without taking away that personal touch too, because you're a service business and
Yeah, for
customer
sure.
first. So really, I mean, you're serving the customer better
I think
by
so.
integrating AI.
Yeah, I don't ever wanna use it as a replacement, but an enhancement, right?
Yeah,
So, because I think if I were to use it as a replacement, I think it gives up the values of the company, and what I mean by that is, I would never have to I would never want to cut overhead from that customer personal touch experience that we have already given, you know? So, again, enhancing the fact that somebody's gonna immediately respond to you in a text message if you choose to use our chat feature at any point in time. Anybody in the company can step in and has access to take over that conversation. It's usually after hours, and that's why we got rid of our answering service after hours, and then we know who specifically to assign it to. And I mean, the customers are just I
yeah,
get feedback from customers that are like, "Oh, I didn't even know that was AI, but I was glad I got a quick
yeah.
prompt response."
Great
And
response
usually it's
time there.
soft
Yeah,
setting the call, and all I have to do with my on call tech is to say he's gonna call and say, "How does 30 minutes from now work?" "Yep, we'll be
yep,
here." And then there we go.
on it.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, good response because there's that small window when the customer
Mhm.
calls, they need some help, and if
Yep.
you don't answer a reply, they're on to the next person.
Exactly.
Exactly, nice. Is there any, areas with it that you haven't been so impressed with?
So, I will tell you everywhere that I've used it, including helping with content creation, I I'm sure everything's been an enhancement. Again, I'm a bit skeptical because I don't use technology the way I thought I was ever going to. So even for me, this is new. So even now, I've taken 3 different classes on AI, um, through at trade shows and stuff like that, just to make sure that, hey, you know what? There are people even using it more than I am, and
Yeah.
it's working. So I know we have what's called Blue On. We even have an AI resource that our technicians use to help find manuals because sometimes you work on a piece of equipment that's 20 years old and the manual's not in the house, so how do we
Yeah.
find it? It's not like I have a book for every piece, so they can scan it and they can use AI and it'll pull up the schematics or whatever they might need. So like it's only ever enhanced in any use case that we've had. So now I'm sure there's a lot more technology out there. Now I will tell you my content creator, he is a wizard with AI. So he is teaching me every single day. It's
That's
pretty
great.
impressive. So it's starting to give me a lot of a love for it, not just as a tool, but as okay, how else can I incorporate this to make everybody's life easier? So
Yeah.
coming coming back to your growth issues, how do we streamline our processes internally to as the demand goes up, I don't want people's workload to feel like they're overwhelmed. How do we bridge that gap and save time? So with internal tracking of things like resources and equipment ordering and things like that, and having that running through and send automated messages really helps us internally to take it out of the brain power so you're not overloaded, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's so helpful. Yeah, I can't. I love hearing all this great feedback about it because there's people that are very hesitant, but it's so great to see somebody that's super successful doing things the right way and then also integrating it the right way. That's huge.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
huge.
And if it wasn't for my team, Scott, again, I don't take much credit in it. The team brings it to my attention. I'm like, hey, all right. I think the openness to be willing to try things to understand the 80/20 principle, right? Like if I can just get something to help me offload some of that time and efficiency, we all should be doing it in our lives.
Absolutely. So over this next 12 months, next year, what are you the most focused on? I know you're busy. I know you're trying to hire more people and train them correctly. Yeah, what's your big goals over this next year?
Yeah, so I've started to come to the reality that my brand of the company is bigger than I anticipated. So I haven't really leaned into it. I've just enjoyed it. Now it's like, oh, okay, that responsibility to get to everybody and making sure that that true innate or that inherent feeling of we got to help these customers, making sure that like I'm out there in media more with my face. We're getting it. Honestly, we've done all this work mostly organically, believe it or not. So, leaning into television and all those things so people really know who we are. And I really okay with making sure that everyone knows who I am and how we operate because to me, what's the worst case scenario? More contractors operate the way they're supposed to be within codes
Yeah,
and manufacture. Okay, rising tides raise all shit. I don't care. To me, we're still going to do our thing because this is the right thing to do. That's what we believe culturally. That's why we have a mission, a vision, and 4 core values. Like it's who we are.
that's
So
great, man.
definitely growth and expansion. Um, we have mostly we focus on our immediate market right now because that's where this program is. But ultimately, my biggest concept is I don't need a rebate program to do what we're doing. So basically, I'm going to continue to build and grow around that, and we're just going to internally self fund a rebate program. Why not?
Great. That's
It's the
amazing. Yeah,
same
that's amazing.
concept. People are gonna pay in, to get these opportunities that we already have people in our membership base. So people will pay us as our we call them a preferred club member. So if you want to be a preferred club member for $19 a month, and it gives you, free 2 tune-ups a year on your piece of equipment. And we're going to come out twice a year to make sure that thing's in tip-top shape, reducing average of $400 to $500 a year in repair cost savings because you're keeping up with it. Because it's the most expensive appliance in your home, and most people it's the most neglected because most people forget about it until it breaks.
Till it breaks. Oh
And
yeah.
fixed fast enough in the customer's eyes, right?
Yeah. No, definitely. That's smart. Yeah. And it keeps the customer relationship strong and you keep them in good standing. That's great. So I was curious about, your media and your marketing. What channel would you say brings you the most success? I know you run Instagram
Yeah.
meta ads, things like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Probably
So
SE, Google.
mhm.
Yeah, where are you seeing the most success from?
In our market, I think because we're very niche, because we're always calling like an HVAC boutique because we can kind of do a little bit of everything. We always get the more complicated jobs because we're the only ones that the customers will say, "Well, you're the only ones that have been able to figure it out." So, in that aspect, pinpointed, targeted meta ads have been very effective for us. I mean, that's probably given me my high. And I've heard people say Google's dead or meta ads are dead because it's played out, it's saturated. But if you're in a niche market or you're very specific and and you've identified what your target market is, I'm getting ridiculous returns. Like I can
Great.
do $200 in meta ad spend and I can get 3 system replacements and like 40, $50,000 of revenue,
I love
like
it. I love hearing that.
I, the math to me, and it's that simple. Everything's math and sales.
I love it. I love it. And that's the thing is when people say meta ads don't work, in my experience, because we work in that world, they weren't doing it the right way. Maybe their offer wasn't good, right? It's all about the offer at the end of the day.
I don't think people truly realize how to identify their target market either.
Yeah, they're targeting, and then the offer is huge. But you're
Yeah.
right, because they go in there, and what they do is they kind of do let the auto Facebook thing, let it just go ahead and run its course, and that's not the right way. You got to really get in there and be more specific with it. It's an art form. It's
Yep.
an art form.
And then the other thing that I enjoyed because of educating and putting content out there and just showing our culture are with constantly putting out content just of who we are, not even with call to actions very often, just who we are and what we do. The biggest causes that we support, and we have a Miss Phyllis Award, and things like that that we constantly go out there and we do, and we just showcase it. I really just want it as like a highlight reel for my team, but because of the brand. But on the flip side, because of putting out content on Reels, Shorts, because, the owner calls it TikTok brain, because that's what most people do. They swipe, 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 right? But that's really increased our ranking in GEO, and if people don't realize that's like 27% of all marketing right now. People
Yeah,
are, 27% statistically are finding you through AI, and if you're not putting out content, how is AI gonna find you?
doesn't know you're there. Man,
Correct.
I love it. You got a very forward thinking mindset in this industry.
Well,
That's
appreciated.
great. Yeah. Hey, Adam, is there anything else you'd like to add before we sign off here? Or, obviously let people know how to find you, how to reach out to you guys.
Yeah, HagerstownHeatingandCooling.com. Our phone number is 240-469-4866. If you ever want to get a hold of me, I'm just Adam at HagerstownHeatingandCooling.com. But ultimately, our biggest thing is understand our culture, understand we're here to protect you. And as always, we tell people to think pink.